All right, hello wine drinking people, we're back. It's still Thursday, April 7th, and quite a bit of drinking yesterday, even though just one supplier in the store. We had a really nice tasting last night with the folks from Ribera del Duero, so let's get right to work with both of those. And our one supplier in the store, the folks from Co-Brand, stopped by to try some wines from an old friend, St. Francis Winery. It's always nice to try wines from a winery you have fond memories of. We've done numerous dinners throughout the years with Tom Mackey, and who is still in charge of winemaking at St. Francis, even though they've got a couple new winemakers obviously taking over the tasks. And, the wine's pretty consistent from this winery throughout the years. Very well known for their Merlot, their Reserve Merlot, and their Cabernets here, and especially the Zinfandel, the Old Vine Zinfandel being a perennial winner here at the Wine Watch in the Zinfandel category. And you guys know, I'm not a big Zinfandel fan. But let's get started with the Chardonnay from Sonoma County, 2009 vintage. And this wine had some lovely lemon citrus and juicy fruits, tropical fruit on the nose, ripe and seductive with just a hint of that buttered toast and butterscotch nuance. Lovely tropical fruit coming through on the palate with nice richness, just a touch of oak spice, and very fresh and balanced on the finish. A really nice bottle of Sonoma Chardonnay there at $16.50. And then the Merlot, one of the things that St. Francis always very well known for. This is just their Sonoma County Merlot. A lot of like dark plum, black cherry fruit, some sweet tobacco spice, notes of toasty oak, fine herbs, and dark cocoa showing on the nose there. This is a mixture of Buehler Vineyard on the valley floor at Nuns Canyon, which is hillside fruit, and a tiny bit of Russian River fruit also thrown in there. And nice and plump on the palate with, again, that dark cherry fruit and plum showing. Smooth and round tannins, nice complexity, a long finish for a Merlot, good freshness, some dry tannins showing up on the finish, and some fresh earthy notes. Very good bottle of Merlot, which is what we expect from St. Francis Winery. Next up, the Red, which is a blend of Merlot, Syrah, Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon. 2007, the name changes to Red Splash. And, this is a Bordeaux-style blend, basically, with a little Syrah thrown in there. 80% estate fruit, and very forward and seductive wine with some nice cherry and currant berry fruit, a touch of fresh earth milk chocolates, and a little bit of spice in there too. Light and really easy drinking red. Nice bottle of wine for $12. All right, next up, the Cabernet Sauvignon from Sonoma County. And the majority of fruit for this vineyard is from the Russian River Valley, but there's some hillside fruit, which is Nuns Canyon, and a little bit of Cabernet Franc and Merlot thrown in there. Very ripe and forward, currant cassis berry fruit with some pretty floral nuance, fine herbs, and some toasty oak, both American and French in the mixture here. Lovely sweet cherry and currant berry fruit on the tongue. Nice round tannins, a real crowd pleaser style of Cabernet Sauvignon with some milk chocolate and damp earth kind of notes on the finish. Very good stuff. Then the Old Vine Zinfandel. And hey, I already told you, I'm not a big Zinfandel fan, but St. Francis's Inns tend to be a little more balanced than most. And even though this wine's big, this lovely brambly red cherry, black raspberry fruit, really jammy. Touch of Alicante Boucher Mourvedre in here. Some notes of underbrush also. And as I mentioned before, always been one of my favorite because even though it's big, it is still somewhat balanced and fresh. And a lot of that jammy fruit on the tongue, but still has good freshness and finishes very clean. A really good bottle of Old Vine Merlot, Old Vine Zinfandel. And then the Pagani Ranch. This is the big boy. Wow, big, aromatic, black cherry liqueur-like fruit, balsamic notes, new leather, espresso, almost like Australian Shiraz on the nose. And lovely richness on the palate, ripe fruit, nice structure, a little bit over the top maybe in style, but still has balance. And again, that Alicante Mourvedre thrown in there for good measure, and some really nice complexity on the finish. And then to finish things up, the St. Francis Claret, kind of going backwards here from these big Zinfandels. I don't know, maybe I would have thrown this wine in the tasting before the Zinfandels, but a Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc, and Malbec blend. The first vintage, since it was conceived that there's no Zinfandel in this Claret blend. And a nice amount of fresh plowed black earth and mocha on the nose there, black cherry and currant, soft berry fruit on the tongue. Nice balance and freshness, a hint of spice, maybe a bit of heat showing up there on the end. But overall, some very good stuff from St. Francis Winery. Next up, we've got our Ribera del Duero tasting here in the store and our big leg of jamon.